You're sitting alone in your apartment. Your phone glows in your hand. 3 notifications. 0 from anyone who actually knows you. Your chest tightens. Your stomach twists. You call it a bad night. You call it sadness. You are wrong. That twist in your gut is not sadness. It is hunger, not for food, for people. And your brain cannot tell the difference. You are not lonely. You are starving. 200,000 years ago, a human standing alone outside the firelight was not just sad. He was prey. A lone traveler on the open grassland had no one to watch his back while he slept. No one to help carry a wounded body home. No one to share a kill too big for one mouth. No one to warn him about the shape moving low in the tall grass. The tribe was the wall between a person and a predator's jaw. Step outside that wall, and the odds of seeing another sunrise dropped fast. Even punishment understood this. In many early human groups, the harshest sentence a person could receive wasn't a beating or a scar across the skin. It was exile. Walk out past the edge of camp, alone, with no fire waiting for you at the end of the day. No hands to help you build a new one. Ancient bones tell the same story anthropologists keep finding, buried in old graveyards across every continent. Isolated humans didn't just feel bad. They died younger and more often, picked off by the cold, by hunger, by predators that a group could have driven away with nothing more than noise and numbers. So the body built an alarm, a tight chest, a restless mind, a gnawing discomfort that would not let a person simply enjoy sitting alone in the dark. This alarm had one job: drag the wanderer back to the fire before the fire went out for good. John Cacioppo, a social neuroscientist at the University of Chicago, spent decades studying this exact alarm. He built what he called the evolutionary theory of loneliness. His research argues loneliness isn't a mood. It's a signal, wired in right next to hunger, thirst, and physical pain, built to do one thing: get you back to your group. Cacioppo tracked hundreds of Chicago residents for years. He drew their blood. He measured their sleep with sensors taped to their wrists. He watched their heart rates spike in a quiet lab room. The lonely ones showed higher levels of cortisol, the same stress hormone that floods a body facing a physical threat. Their immune cells behaved like the immune cells of someone under siege, inflamed and on edge. Their brains stayed on high alert long after any real danger had passed, scanning every face in a room for the first flicker of rejection, the same way a smoke detector scans a hallway for the first wisp of smoke. Here's where the story turns strange. In 2020, a neuroscientist named Livia Tomova brought 40 people into a lab at MIT. She split them into 2 separate ordeals on 2 separate days. On one day, she made them fast for 10 hours straight. No food, no coffee, just water. On another day, she locked them alone in a small windowless room for 10 hours. No phone, no books, no people, just 4 walls, a chair, and a clock. After each session, she walked them straight into an fMRI scanner. She showed the hungry group photos of pizza, warm bread, chocolate cake. She showed the isolated group photos of friends laughing together, families around a dinner table, strangers hugging at an airport gate. The scanner lit up, not in 2 different places, in the same place. A small ancient structure buried deep in the midbrain, called the substantia nigra, flared for the hungry subjects staring at bread. It flared just as hard for the isolated subjects staring at faces. Rebecca Sachs, the senior researcher on the project, put it plainly afterward. The brain treats a missing person exactly like a missing meal. Both starved, both craving. Same circuit, different meal. This is not a metaphor built for a thumbnail. This is a brain scan, printed out, sitting in a folder on a desk at MIT. Question: if loneliness is just hunger for people, then surrounding yourself with people should fix it instantly, right? Wrong. And this is where your instincts get it backward. Cacioppo's decades of data show something almost nobody expects. People in unhappy marriages, sitting across the dinner table from a spouse every single night, report loneliness scores as high as people who live completely alone. A packed office floor, 40 desks, 40 coworkers, 40 faces walking past a desk every morning can still hold one of the loneliest people you will ever meet. The alarm isn't counting heads in the room. It isn't counting wedding rings or group chats or birthday party invitations pinned to a corkboard. It's checking something else entirely. Does this person actually see you? Julianne Holt-Lunstad, a researcher at Brigham Young University, pulled together 148 separate studies covering more than 300,000 people to test how seriously the body takes this signal. Her 2010 analysis found that a starved social life predicts early death about as strongly as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Not stress, not sadness, death. The same category of risk doctors assigned to a cigarette pack sitting on a nightstand or a scale tipping toward obesity. A chart of her data shows two lines drifting apart over the years, one for the well-connected, one for the isolated, the gap between them widening with every birthday. So the wiring is real, it's ancient, and it's still running the show. But here is where it turns against you completely. A starving person can eat a candy bar pulled from a vending machine down the hall. Their stomach stops growling, their blood sugar spikes. For 20 minutes, the hunger is gone. Then it crashes back, worse than before, because a candy bar was never a meal. It was a wrapper shaped like one. Scrolling through a feed of other people's dinners, other people's weddings, other people's inside jokes is the candy bar of this alarm system. A like lands on a post, a notification buzzes in a pocket. A small red circle appears on a colored icon. For a few seconds, the craving quiets. Then it crashes back, worse than before because a notification was never a person. It was a wrapper, shaped like one. Look at a teenager's bedroom tonight, anywhere in the country. A phone lights up the ceiling. Hundreds of contacts sit inside it. Group chats stacked on group chats. A follower count climbing into the thousands. And still, national surveys keep finding the same strange result. The most digitally connected generation in recorded history also reports the highest rates of loneliness ever measured, higher than their grandparents living out their final years alone in a quiet house. More wrappers on the floor than any generation before them. Less food on the table than any generation before them. This is the trap closing shut. The alarm was built for a world with one option: walk back to the fire, sit beside an actual body, share an actual meal, cooked over actual coals, eaten with actual hands, passed around an actual circle of faces. It was never built for a world offering 1,000 tiny wrappers a day, each one just filling enough to kill the appetite for the real thing without ever actually satisfying it. A text that says "thinking of you" can quiet the craving for a minute, the same way a sip of soda can quiet a growling stomach for a minute. Neither one is the meal. A voicemail left on a phone can sit unheard for days, its little red icon blinking like a porch light left on for no one. A phone call at least brings an actual voice into the room. A shared meal at an actual table, forks and elbows, and cross conversations. Someone reaching across to steal a fry off your plate is the only thing this ancient circuit was ever actually built to recognize as food. So the modern brain sits inside a strange, new kind of hunger. Fed constantly, nourished rarely, a stomach full of wrappers and still growling underneath them. Look at your phone again, that glow in your hand right now. It is not proof that something is broken inside you. It is proof the alarm still works exactly the way it worked in the trees and on the open grassland. Your ancestors felt this same tight chest before a solo hunt, before a fight with the group, before a long, dark walk home alone. Their bodies pulled them back toward people because people meant survival. Your body is pulling on the exact same string tonight, in an apartment instead of a cave, lit by a screen instead of a fire. The 3 notifications on your screen are not nothing, but they are not dinner either. They are the smell of food drifting through someone else's window. Not the food itself. You're sitting alone in your apartment. Your phone still glows in your hand. But that twist in your chest isn't sadness anymore. Not tonight. Tonight you know exactly what it is. It's hunger. Old hunger. Older than your apartment, older than your phone, older than every wrapper this century has handed you. And hunger, unlike sadness, has a straightforward answer. It doesn't need scrolling. It needs a real seat across from a real face at a real table.